Welcome back again to Rinka's Kitchen. I have another family favorite recipe, and it is a pastry recipe that I'd like to share with you. And this is one of my grandmother's and mother's favorite recipe that they would serve after a special dinner or special celebration. It's called walnut slice, Dios Selet. And what you would need for this recipe is 5 cups of flour, and this is for the dough recipe. 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a rind of 2 medium lemons, so you have to grate them finely, and then 2 cups of butter, 2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening, 1 cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of vanilla, 3 whole eggs, and 2 to 6 or more tablespoons of milk. So what I've done is I've mixed together some flour and with the baking powder and the salt and the 2 lemon rinds. So this will be the flour mixture. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the flour mixture to the wet ingredients and also the sugar. So what I've done is with a hand electric mixer, I've combined butter, shortening, sugar, vanilla, 3 whole eggs, and grated a rind of 1 lemon. So this is what this mixture looks like. So what I'm going to do to begin with is I'm going to slowly start adding the flour into this butter mixture. And I'm going to keep doing that until it is has a consistency for me to be able to go in there with my hand and be able to knead it gently. So you don't want to be overworking the dough. You don't want it to be a hard crust. So I'm going to keep doing that. So I'm just going to add my flour in there slowly until I get the right consistency. And I've got 5 cups of flour here. So the reason why I say that that you can add the 2 to 6 teaspoons of milk or tablespoons of milk to the dough is if you find that the dough gets a bit too dry. So you'll know whether you need the 5 cups. So I've kind of approximated 5 cups of flour there. So I just keep mixing that together until I get a consistency that I can actually start kneading the dough. So what I'll do is I will come back, and after I've put together the dough, and then I will go over the rest of the directions with you. Welcome back again to Rinka's Kitchen. What I did is I mixed together flour, baking powder, salt, and grated rind of 1 lemon, and then with a hand mixer I combined the butter, the shortening, sugar, vanilla, and 3 whole eggs and grated the rind of 1 lemon. And so what I did was I added the flour to the flour mixture and stirred it up until it was the right consistency for me to knead the dough. And so what I did was I rolled it on some parchment paper, and what I did was I measured it exactly to the size of my rectangular heat-resistant dish, which I'm going to be placing the dough into. So, and that's what I've done, and so I'm going to show you what the dough looks like. And what I did was I used some parchment paper. I used parchment paper, and what I did was I rolled the dough, the 1 mound of dough, because I divided the dough into two pieces, mounds, and then I rolled it on top of the parchment paper. And when it was all rolled on top of the parchment paper, I turned the parchment paper over like this, and then I took off the dough. It's just easier from this part, and then I just peeled it off, and then it came off quite easily right into the heat-resistant dish. So, and then of course I cut off the excess dough, so I trimmed it around the perimeter of the dish to make it kind of neat and tidy. And so what I'm going to do now is show you how to how I put together the walnut topping. So, and that's the oven. It's going off right now. It's preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit to begin baking this great walnut pastry recipe. So I'm going to show you the mixture that I have. So what I have is 5 cups of finely ground walnuts, and I have 3 tablespoons of vanilla, 3/4 cups of sugar, 3 eggs, and inside this mixture here I have 3 egg yolks. So you're going to separate 3 eggs, and you're going to save the egg whites and put them into a small bowl. Then I used rind and juice of 1 lemon and 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I mixed those ingredients together, and then what I did was with a hand mixer, I beat 3 egg whites until it was frothy and stiff. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to put the egg whites into the walnut mixture, and I'm going to fold this gently into. Folding means going under and over, very carefully, folding in the egg whites into the walnut mixture topping. And I keep continuing to do that until I mix the egg whites in there. Just gently stirring it in, or folding it in. You don't want to over stir it. Making sure that you've got the egg whites mixed into the walnut mixture. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread that on top, evenly spread that on top of the dough. So what I did was I divided the dough into half, so I ended up with 2 mounds of dough, because the other mound of dough I will be grating that on top of the walnut mixture. And I've got that mound of dough in the refrigerator chilling. So you've got to chill it for about 2 to 3 hours to make it nice and cold. And then you use a grater. And I will be showing you how to do that. So now I've got that mixed together. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to evenly spread the walnut mixture onto the dough. I'm just going to get a bit there, and then I'm going to take my wooden spoon, and I'm just going to spread, make sure that I spread this evenly over the dough. Now this is a family favorite recipe that my grandmother and my mother would serve to her guests, after dinner, a couple hours after dinner. Would serve it with some coffee or tea. Or it could just be, you're inviting guests over and you're just going to have coffee and some dessert. And this is a great recipe to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread that evenly over the top, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you, because I have the other mound of dough in the fridge and it's chilling. It's just about done chilling, and I'm going to show you how to grate the dough on top of the walnut. Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I'm preparing a family favorite recipe, and it's called Dios Selet walnut slice. So what I did was I spread the walnut topping mixture on top of the dough, and now I've taken out the other half of the dough and mound of dough, and I'm going to show you how you need to use a grater to grate the remaining dough mound. So what I've done is I've dipped some piece of the dough into flour so it doesn't stick to the grater, and I've got a grater, and I'm using the larger part of the grater. So you want to grate this on the top of the and I've done pretty much most of it, so I just want to show you what this looks like. When it bakes in the oven, it's just awesome. It just becomes sort of crispy on the top too. It has a crispy kind of texture to it. And of course, with all the flavors of the lemon and the vanilla and the lemon rind, it's just already smelling so great right now. It's not even in the oven. So I'm going to grate the remaining of this dough on top of the walnut slice, and I'm just going to spread it around a little bit with my fingers. You don't want to be using a spoon because you don't want to be flattening the it's like a sort of a crumble. You're making sort of a crumbly kind of a texture to the top of it. And then I just continue to dip this in flour so that, you know, I don't have the pastry sticking to the grater. So, and of course, the baking powder will allow the dough on the bottom to rise a bit, so you'll have the dough will look a lot thicker when you take it out of the oven. On the bottom, so you'll have kind of like an even. So I'm just going to use my hand a bit, and then I'm just going to spread it around like that. So, and then I'm going to continue doing this, and then I'm just going to talk to you about the baking of it and the length of baking. So what you do is you preheat the oven to 350 degrees, which I've already done, and I'm going to bake the walnut slab for about 25 minutes. And then I'm going to lower the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and bake it for an additional 20 minutes. And it's really important that you cool the walnut slab before you actually start cutting them into slices. And then what I've done is I've mixed together some vanilla sugar, and you can get them in small packets, and the sugar has been vanilla has been added to the sugar, and then you add it to some powdered icing sugar, and you mix it together, and then you sprinkle the slices as you're serving to your guests slices. You sprinkle the walnut slice with the powdered vanilla sugar icing sugar. So what I'll do is I will come back and I will show you what this great recipe looks like coming fresh out of the oven. Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I had in the oven a recipe called Dios Selet walnut slice, and so what it begins as is a large slab of dough and walnut mixture, and then when you serve it, it is sliced into individual pieces. So this has been baking in the oven for approximately 45 minutes. So for the first 25 minutes, I baked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and for the second half of the baking time, I baked it for 20 minutes at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I've done is I've taken it fresh out of the oven, and I've let it cool for about 20 minutes, and what I'd like to do is show you what this great recipe looks like. So I've already cut a piece out of it, and I'm going to show you what this great recipe looks like on a plate. So what I've done is I've sprinkled some icing sugar on it, and I mixed it with a package of vanilla sugar, and it just gives it a more distinct taste of vanilla. And the aroma in the kitchen is just fantastic. And smell the lemon rind and lemon and the walnuts and all the other aromas like the sugar and that in this recipe. So it can be served with your favorite tea or coffee. So I hope that you enjoy baking this great recipe from my family, traditional recipe. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me at irene@irinkaskitchen.com or irinkaskitchen.com. Until next time, bon appetit, jó étvágyat!